Supreme Court of India Kirpal Singh vs State of Punjab decided on April 18, 2024 SEC Online SC 549 Facts of the case. The appellant inflicted an injury with the weapon on the abdomen of Sharon Kaur, PW, 5. Another assailant who was accompanying appellant Kirpal Singh caught hold of her arm. She raised an alarm shouting, "Killed, killed, Mar dida," on which her sons Goldie and Sonu woke up. Both the assailants fled away by opening the main gate, in between the two shops. Sharon Kaur, PW, 5, went upstairs to have a look at her husband and found him lying severely injured on the cot with blood oozing out of his mouth and head. Blood pooled on the ground below. On the way to the hospital, Balwinder Singh expired. Additional sessions judge convicted and sentenced the appellant under section 302/307 IPC. High Court dismissed the appeal. Findings of the court: the motive for the incident, as is projected in the evidence of Sharon Kaur, prosecution witness 5, was that the accused was bearing a jealousy on account of flourishing Halwai business of her husband, whereas the business of the accused was not thriving. However, we may state that other than this bald averment made by Sharon Kaur, prosecution witness 5, attributing motive for the incident to the accused, no corroborative material was collected by the investigating officers to lend credence to this theory of motive. The statement of Sharon Kaur, prosecution witness 5, on this aspect is also very vague. The story so set up by the prosecution does not inspire confidence for more than one reason. Once the accused had achieved the objective of eliminating Balwinder Singh, deceased, without being discovered, they had all the opportunity in the world to escape from the spot by using the very same ladder, which had been used to climb up the chowbra. Thus, there was no reason for the accused to risk discovery by coming down and alarming the family members. Furthermore, as per the prosecution case, 2 accused were involved in the incident. If at all the prosecution case is to be believed, the accused, after killing Balwinder Singh, deceased, must have gone down to eliminate the other family members, and in that background, there was no reason as to why the person accompanying the accused appellant was unarmed. This again creates a doubt on the truthfulness of the prosecution story, neither in the FIR, Exhibit PG/2, nor in the application, Exhibit DA, signed by the first informant Sharon Kaur, prosecution witness 5, and addressed to the Chief Minister, Punjab. The name of the second accused, Balwinder Singh, is mentioned as one of the assailants. There is no dispute that the acquitted accused Balwinder Singh and appellant Kirpal Singh are closely related to the family of the deceased and the first informant. In that event, if the first informant had identified the offenders at the time of the incident, there was no reason as to why she would leave out the name of Balwinder Singh while giving the statement to the police officer, who recorded FIR, Exhibit PG/2, version of Dr. Didar Singh, prosecution witness 1, completely destroys the story put forth by Sharon Kaur, prosecution witness 5, that she and her family members had taken the victim to the government hospitals referred to above, or that the body was brought back to their home after such medical examination was conducted. Apparently, the dead body was just lying in the house till the police arrived, who took both the victims to the hospital. This fact is firmly cemented when we consider the deposition of Dr. Didar Singh, prosecution witness 1, who has stated that Sharon Kaur, prosecution witness 5, told him that she had not been examined medico-legally by any other doctor and that she had been admitted in the hospital immediately after the medical examination. These inherent infirmities in the testimony of Sharon Kaur, prosecution witness 5, completely destroys her evidentiary worth, and we have no hesitation in holding that she is a totally unreliable partisan witness. We find that Daljit Singh, prosecution witness 6, did not even utter a word that appellant was having a weapon with him when he saw him fleeing away from the crime scene. These inherent improbabilities and loopholes in the evidence completely destroy the fabric of the prosecution case, which is full of holes and holes which are impossible to be stitched together. On going through the evidence of Sharon Kaur, prosecution witness 5, and Daljit Singh, prosecution witness 6, with reference to other evidence available on record, we are of the firm opinion that both these witnesses fall in the second category, i.e., wholly unreliable. No other tangible evidence was led by the prosecution to connect the accused appellant with the crime. The spade allegedly used to assault the deceased was found lying at the crime scene. On going through the entire set of prosecution witnesses, we find that no weapon of crime was recovered at the instance of the accused appellant, and thus, there is no corroborative evidence so as to lend credence to the wavering and unreliable testimony of Sharon Kaur, prosecution witness 5, and Daljit Singh, prosecution witness 6. Consequently, the appellant deserves to be acquitted by giving him the benefit of doubt. The appeal is allowed.